Juan Catamayo, JCT for Education for you. Remember, these videos, they are housed on YouTube. We have our own channel. Mike, we're back. Un saludo para ti. So let's see, right here we have Mr. Mike Mora. Just tell us a little bit. Just wait a second. Technology coming. JCT for Education team.
Hey,
Oliver,
hola
¿cómo
España, hola
estás?
mundo, hola Miami, hello
Hola.
everybody, how is everybody doing?
Everybody's doing well. Un saludo muy especial para mi madre, Merchis, Julia, EX Formation, Mike, María Cristina. We have Ether Dosia, Jono Granell. Hey, Jonathan Edwards from Granell. He's going to be here on our live conversation. And without further ado, Oliver Rodriguez Pearson, how are you, my friend?
I'm very good, man. Thank you for inviting me to be here. It's an honor. It's an amazing job that you're doing, and sharing our wisdom with the world is incredible. So, do you want to do this in Spanish or in English or?
We're gonna go back and forth, pero un saludo muy especial para Julia. Julia te manda a decir saludar a todos. Charito, Charito, ¿cómo estás? Buenas tardes. Oliver, buenas noches. 10 de la noche para ti, 10:05. Gracias.
Nada, un placer. Ya he metido los niños en la cama. Al perro le he dicho que esté calladito. Y mi mujer está trabajando.
Bueno, hermano. ¿Y tu señora es anestesióloga?
Correcto.
Oh,
Es sanitaria y está luchando contra el virus.
okay. So for those of you watching John O'Granell, we're gonna go back and forth. So your Oliver's wife is an anesthesiologist, and she's fighting really hard the virus down there in Madrid. So how is the quarantine for you guys, Oliver? How does she do this? How she takes care of herself with you guys and the children?
Well, we have to be careful, obviously. I think Spain is one of the country that's been more restrictive in everything. And in Madrid especially, we are in lockdown, and we've been in lockdown for forever.
I know.
On Monday, we are starting the de-escalation, so we will be allowed to kind of do more of normal life. Right now, we are allowed to go out, but depending on your age, you can go out at different times.
Okay.
And if you have a dog and you have kids and you are my age, you can almost kind of put it in between all day.
Okay. So let's go. These are conversations, and I always love to talk with our guests about where they're from. I know your wife is from Medellin, Colombia, but she was born in Valledupar, which is very famous for a musical festival, el Festival de Valledupar. ¿Ya ha sido, Oliver, o nada?
No he tenido la oportunidad de ir, no ha coincidido. Es una época del año en la que hay mucho trabajo. Sí he podido estar durante el verano nuestro y durante la Navidad en Valledupar, en Medellín, en Cartagena, en Santa Marta, en el Tayrona, pero no he podido disfrutar de ese festival que me han dicho que es como la locura.
Yeah, yo nunca he ido al festival. I've never been to the Valledupar Festival, but hopefully in the future. Charito says, mis respetos para tu esposa. She's a hero, man, working with the hospital and everything that she's doing. Jono from Grinnell College, Director of International Missions, say, no español, hermano. He
Oh,
speaks,
sorry.
he's, so he says, no problem. He will learn. He speaks really good German. We have Sara Sanchez, Escondada, Ana Gaviria. We have Maria Cristina. So let's tell our viewers right now. Oliver is a dear friend of mine, and this is what is so beautiful about the job that we do in education. Around 3 years ago, we took a group of students to Fiji, and we run a program with Rustic Pathways. And thanks to Oliver, we were able to put this drink together where we were doing community service with the students and also teaching the SAT. So it was 2 weeks, And Oliver was instrumental when he was at Rustic Pathways to help us with the project. But you know how education it is, chemistry, and we become very good friends. And now for the last 5 years, almost 5 years, you are the co-founder of the Lemon Tree Education. So Oliver, tell us about that transition from Rustic Pathways to your own organization, and how so, and what was the idea behind?
So I've always been in international education since I started working and I was combining my studies and a part-time job. Um, I believe in international education. I think it's the essence for education and combining cultures and all that. Um, and I went in many different ways. And one of the things that I was doing was at Rustic Pathways, connecting students with personal development, community service. But I was basically living on the road for 5, 6 years, and I met my wife. I wanted to have a family, and with my partners and friends here in Madrid, we thought that we could set up our business, the Lemon Tree Education, to inspire Spanish kids and help them navigate through international education. We focus a lot on high school, boarding schools, and accessing university, but building from early stages, from grade 9, 10. And we focus in the US, Canada, UK, Ireland, Switzerland. Um, and and we thought that helping and providing these opportunities to students, especially, I see it right now. This is essential for teenagers. They need to expose themselves. They need to leave their comfort of their, community, home, and everything. There's a very different perspective on a teenager in the US and in Spain or in Europe or in Latin countries, Italy, Colombia. It's
Yes.
like mother says like, "Oh, it's my baby," and they might be 25. So,
Or 36.
oh, exactly.
So,
So we
well, go ahead.
sorry,
Go ahead.
we
No,
provide.
I just want to say to we have a couple university people here. We have Ed Bustos from Rollins College. We have Grinnell College. We also have Lorena, and we have several admission counselors here. And for the admission counselors that are watching right now, Oliver is your guy in Spain. I trust him 100%. If I were a college recruiter, I will definitely will visit his office. He's highly connected. He knows the Spanish market really, really well. He's helped us at JCT for Education, even for current students, learning and knowing more about Spanish university. So I just want to put that plug in for you, Oliver, because
Thank you very much.
when we think all the universities in Spain, we think about you, and you have that marketing background. So for those of you watching from the college side, this is the guy. So I'm sorry for interrupting. I just want to put that plug for you.
Yeah, and we now believe that it's the time to provide to help each other, to provide valuable information, to put it out there. And just the other day, somebody was calling me about some kind of options in Lisbon, in Portugal. It's not the kind of things that I normally do, but I gave them, I don't know, an hour conversation um, out of the kindness of my heart, because I felt that I could provide value to them, and for me it was very, very easy. So that's what drives us,
Okay.
um, and try to inspire. Me personally, I'm trying to inspire students, kids, I call them kids, um, to step out of their comfort zone and leave their home and confront real life. There's a like in Spain, students normally go to the university in their hometown. A lot
Okay.
of the times they stay very local.
Okay.
There's not that um, uh, you know uh, tendency to find a student job. There's it's
Mhm.
like parents say you need to just focus on your studies. Don't worry about the rest. Um, we need more entrepreneurs. We need more driven people to push their limits and experience new things.
Okay. Now, I see Rafa Ojoki. He is actually a Spanish. He lives in Florida. Hola, Anita, Gabe. So, Oliver, I see you have Oliver Rodriguez Pearson. Where are you from?
I was born in Madrid, but I'm half Spanish, half British, and I have a funny accent because I worked with Americans for a long time. So people, when they listen to me, they go like, where are you from?" I was I lived almost all my life in Madrid. Then I've traveled the world for work and pleasure. Then I met my wife, and we decided to uh, build some strong roots in Madrid.
Okay. And where did you go to high school?
Locally in Madrid, I went to Catholic um, uh, school in the city,
Okay.
small, very family environment. My cousins went there, my brother went there. Um, it was convenient. It was close to my house. Um,
Okay.
so,
And then
just
and then
just normal person.
when you were in high school, you decided I want to study marketing. What was happening on that brain? What wanted you to do with the vision of marketing? You went to Buckinghamshire University in the UK. What took you to the UK? Back to your roots.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I've I think I'm doing what I'm doing today because I didn't have the guidance when I was a teenager.
Okay.
I've been very independent from my very beginning. I was living with my older brother. He was just only 3 years older than me, but I was 15 and he was 18, and we were living in an apartment. So I was, figuring things out by myself, finished high school. But before finishing high school, I wanted to be uh, like a publicist and work in advertising. I wanted to be an engineer for forests. I wanted to be a lawyer, or study political science. It was a mix. And I realized that I was good at personal relationships and marketing, and I liked um, kind of the entrepreneur world, and I knew that I was going to set my business at some point. My parents
Okay.
are freelancers, so that's kind of where I went. And definitely being in the international education side, you need to study abroad.
Yes.
And the UK for Spain provides really amazing opportunities. There's so many different alternative degrees, universities. Um, it's a very dynamic environment that gets you into the real world really fast. So that's why I decided to go there.
Okay. What is your connection with Oregon?
Uh,
The word Cosby.
I'm a little bit lost there.
So I saw that on your profile, the word Cosby, like a newspaper, something in Oregon. Did you do something with that? Were you a journalist for them or not at all?
No, maybe
No.
I don't. No, sorry.
So you better
uh,
check
I
your Facebook. You have something that says, or maybe you wrote an article and they publish your article. So you better check your Facebook.
I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check my. Good. You are a good investigator.
I was trying to do a lot of research about you. But Oliver, so when you were working for Rustic Pathways, did
Yeah.
you, as a customer service, did you have the opportunity to travel throughout the world, especially all the locations in Southeast Asia, Fiji, New Zealand, Australia?
So I actually I wasn't only speaking with uh, international students.
Okay.
Rustic Puppets is a very American. It's an American company, and
Yes.
what I was doing there while I was there, I was opening a little bit more international markets. So I was going to China. I spent some time in Southeast Asia. I worked in Costa Rica on the programs. I developed some programs in Spain for them at the beginning, and and basically I was in South America, Latin America a little bit too,
Okay.
trying to kind of give the pill of community service, giving back, personal development, personal growth through those kind of experiences.
Okay.
Where in places like, I don't know, China or Taiwan or even Europe, in a lot of places like Europe, is like, no way, I'm not gonna pay to do that. It's like, how is that gonna get me into a good school or things like that? The US education has a lot of to offer to teenagers in terms of mentality and switching something on that will drive you to success. So I was trying to inspire a lot of people. In China, for example, I would give presentations at high schools.
Mhm.
Maybe 1,000 kids.
Wow.
In China, there's high schools that are massive, um, and I would go there, speak in English. Some would understand, some wouldn't. I would give presentations to parents with translators, um, and I would spend like 3 weeks there touring the country,
Okay.
just speaking about community service, and the importance of giving back and growing through those kind of experiences.
Okay. Thank you. So now let's go from rustic now to the lemon tree education and the work that you've done. Every time that I think boarding schools in the UK, I think about you guys. Coincidentally, last fall I was visiting the IE, and then I went to Navarra. And it was crazy when I told you I was staying at the Meliá Hotel near the US Embassy. And you say, oh, Juanca, I'm running like a mini fair with boarding schools from the UK. And I'm like, I can't believe it. That the same weekend that I'm in Madrid, same hotel, you are running the same program. So, I mean, things are meant to be. How is the boarding situation right now in the UK? Any updates? The students from Spain, what's happening right now? What news have you heard?
So basically, this crisis. I was actually the weekend the from the 4th to the 6th of March. I was in London at the British boarding school workshop, where I
Okay,
was meeting with a lot of boarding schools, and we actually had a open discussion with, I don't know, there were school representatives, agencies from different places, about the impact of the virus, and everybody was like, this is just a thing, or we didn't know. We were taking precautions. The organization was really spot on that. But the schools were like, okay, if a student needs to go because it's half term, and then has to come back and do the quarantine and all that, what's going to happen? And they started like a lot of discussions, but in 2 weeks, the kids were going, like, they're like, schools are closing and you have to go. Some schools have reacted better than others. Some schools, as everybody, some schools have been very supportive of their students and are doing a lot of things. I was having a conversation the other day with Lincolnshire um, um, school, and they were saying that they had a student stay until May,
mm-hmm.
because he couldn't fly back to his home
Country.
country. So that's a very supportive school, and others that what they are doing right now, a lot of them have adjusted their fees,
Okay.
and they are doing online training.
Okay.
So they've given back a lot of the fees that parents have paid, um, and there's a lot of uncertainty in Europe. Well, I guess all around the world, but in Europe
Yes.
there's a lot of uncertainty on how things are going to be turning out for September.
Okay.
Um, so they are doing a lot of contingency plans, but they are all dependent on what the governments are going to be
Okay.
saying.
What are is your government saying in Spain about opening the airports and opening the borders? Have they talked about that yet or not?
Uh, you are asking me a tough question
Is it?
because in Spain the politicians or the government says something, and a few hours later they say something completely different. Like a week
Okay.
ago they were saying no masks, and now they're saying masks, and we've been 3 months with this, so we should know what's going on. What has been said is that anybody coming into the country needs to do the 2-week quarantine.
Okay.
um, so that's going to be affecting a lot of tourism. Spain is, I think, the second or the first destination in the world for tourism. It's been between France and Spain, but now the tourism industry has gone down, and especially with this quarantine, is going to make it worse. In terms of visas and all those things, um, I think we are all in the same situation. My students want to go to the US or to Canada or to other places where they need visas. The visa centers or the consulates are right now closed. They are going to be reopening um, in June
Okay.
at some point, and I think that's going to be the trend for every country.
Okay.
Um, Governments, I believe, have been focusing on helping their citizens return and support them while they've been abroad. Uh, and now they are focusing on other things, especially in education. I know there's a lot of people pushing for things to happen, and allow students to go where they need to go. But there's a lot of uncertainty on how the school year is going to be starting, or when it's going to be starting, and how everything is going to be working.
Okay. Good. And now, just want to say hello to Sofia, Maria, Mergoldi. We have Mike here. You have Lauri, JCT for Education. Hola, Elena. To all of you, buenas noches. Good afternoon. If you are in Asia, good morning. So, Oliver, how far do you live from the Bernabeu?
Basically, 5 minutes doing a slow walk.
Okay.
I can
So,
I can hear the crowds when there's a
So,
exactly.
so let's give. I want to ask you. So when you're coming from work, sometimes your street is closed because the stadium, is full of Real Madrid fans. Hopefully, you are one of them. No, not offense, but how chaotic does it get when you want to go home and the stadium is full?
It's crazy. Sometimes I get back from the office late, and you see the road that it's packed, and it's like, what's going on? Because I'm, thinking on other stuff, and I get home, I start getting closer, and you see the police, and it's like, oh, okay, there's a game again. Um, and I have to explain that I live where I live, and I need to show my ID with my address, and it's a nightmare. You can't park anywhere.
I know, I know,
It's nuts. It's
I
nuts.
know.
Um, I'm moving out. I'm leaving. I'm going to the suburbs
Okay,
um, in a couple weeks, to a place called Boadilla del Monte,
okay.
um, and that's going to be much more peaceful and relaxed, more like closer to the countryside. Have a little garden, and good for the kids.
I remember when my parents, me myself, living in Mexico City, with my parents. We live right in front of the El Estadio Azteca, the magnificent architectural piece. And I remember the same thing. You will go home. There is no way to go home. We had to park the car like 3 blocks somewhere and just wait for the game to be over and so forth. But you could hear the roaring from the stadium.
And
When
now,
when are we going back to stadiums? What do you think?
uh, La Liga is
Mhm.
pushing. Like, it's
Okay.
like, we don't care if there's nobody coming to see us. Like, we need to play. Like,
Okay.
players need to keep, and especially, I mean, it's like college football in the US. Are they postponing it for after the fall or whatever? It's a business. It needs to keep running. Um, the fun fact, or the fact about Real Madrid and its stadium, it's under construction. They are refurbishing it. They are building it bigger. They are building a hotel where you can see, you can have a room that overlooks the pitch. It's going to be amazing. There's going to be like a uh, like department store, everything together, restaurants. It's going to be like a hub where people can go. They're going to be making all the couple street pedestrian streets, so no cars there. They're building a green space also.
Wow.
Um, it's amazing, and it's in the city center. It's like amazing.
That's
So they are now under construction, and I don't know the dates, but they were going to be playing in another location that they have until it's finished. Right now, it's 24/7 workers uh,
wow.
building it.
Well, I just want to take a second and I want to say thank you to the JCT for Education production team. You guys have been amazing. Oliver, I just want to put another plug. We just checked metrics, and this week we have over 13,000 viewers
Wow.
watching live on Instagram. So, to all of you, thank you so much. And I see Chus Martinez, Venezuela, high connections with Spain. Jose David Lame, un abrazo muy grande. We hope to have you here soon. Montanez. So we're here with Oliver Rodriguez Pearson from the Lemon Tree Education, an expert in European education and abroad education. When I have questions about Spain, I always contact Oliver. Oliver, what about the little kids, children? Have they said anything about opening schools in Madrid or in areas around Spain yet for the little kids?
Uh, there's a lot of conversations, but the the government and the politicians are very fragmented, so it's very difficult for them to find um, agreements,
Okay.
and also the it's like the states. Each state has a governor.
Mm-hmm.
In Spain, we have the provinces, and each province basically um, kind of sets their own guidelines, and it all depends also on the de-escalation phase that you are
Okay.
in.
Okay.
So it looks like, and I've been speaking with schools, and my kids, well, the older one goes to a nursery, and the director is part of the association of nurseries of Spain. Um, he's very informed, and he's like, Oliver, I actually don't know, because we are speaking every week with the government, but they don't have a clear direction. My
Okay.
gut feeling is that everything is going to be closed until the return in
To the school
September.
in
Yeah.
September. Okay. Wow, that's good. That's good to know. A week from today, we will have actually the following week we will have Alberto Fernandez from Universidad de Navarra, and as you say, every region is different. So I'm
Exactly.
very curious about what Alberto Fernandez has to say
Because
about Universidad de Navarra.
in Universidad de Navarra is in the Basque country, in the País Vasco,
Yes.
and right now they have more flexibility than for example Madrid, where we at.
Mm-hmm.
um, and there's other locations that have. I was speaking today with some a family from Tenerife.
Mm-hmm.
And they were saying like, yeah, my husband was, having lunch with some friends, and I'm like, oh, right, you can, we can't. We can't do anything, we can't meet anybody. So it affects where you at, definitely, how it reacts. But normally the end of the school year is uh, June 20th, and we almost there.
Okay. And Oliver,
Um,
because I'm conscious about time and the audience and so forth, and they've been super nice. So you work for an educational company, the Lemon Tree Education. How are you reinventing yourself? That's the word that everybody's using right now. How do you communicate with families, with the students? How are you sustaining your employees? What are you doing?
well, first of all, we believe that being like close contact with our students and with their families, this is for us essential. This is what every school needs to do. This is what any university needs to do. Anybody needs to be listening to their clients, to their, in this case, our students and what they want, and trying to be flexible and adapt. Um, uh, we are also looking at different ways to provide value to our students.
Uh-huh.
Um, we are also looking at how to provide value to the schools we like, and we kind of, let's help each other.
Okay.
So we are developing, we have many things in the oven. The essence of all the things that we have in the oven is create valuable content that students, parents, educators can learn from, no matter if they hire us or not.
Okay.
Just be there for the people. And we believe that if you provide value, anybody will come at the end of the day.
Okay. And today, Friday, 10 o'clock. Well, actually, it's 10:36 for you. What do you do on a Friday during quarantine on a Friday night? You go to bed early?
Normally, I haven't had dinner yet.
Okay.
Uh, today I got home early, because I can go to the office. I'm going to
Okay.
the office by myself. The rest of the team is working from home. But I have two little kids. One is a 1 year old. The other one is a 3 year old. I have a dog. I live in a small apartment right now, so I can't really have these things. Today, everything is quiet. But normally I get home, have dinner, and kind of collapse. Uh,
And,
take
and,
care
and,
of.
your, and your wife is at the hospital, what, 48-hour shifts or what are her shifts?
No, today she has a 24-hour shift. So,
Okay. Okay.
she left home at 7:30 a.m. She'll be back tomorrow at maybe 10 a.m. So she spends all day there. She's working almost every day, maybe from 8 in the morning to 3 p.m. Depends on the shift. Sometimes she works in the morning, sometimes she works in the afternoon,
Ok,
evening.
para los que están viendo, les digo en español, la esposa de Oliver es anestesióloga, es una de nuestras héroes que está trabajando en el frente, está allá en Madrid. Un abrazo para tu señora, estamos súper orgullosos. Una paisa nacida en Valledupar, que se casó aquí con un gran amigo mío, con Oliver Rodríguez Pearson de Educational 3, de Tree Education. Y Oliver, un mensaje para todos los que te están viendo ya para cerrar el segmento.
Em, Hay dos maneras de mirar a la vida y concretamente toda esta situación. El vaso puede estar medio vacío o medio lleno. Yo soy de los que piensa que está medio lleno. Todas las mañanas doy gracias por todo lo que tenemos y todas las oportunidades que existen ahí fuera. Mucha gente a lo mejor puede sentirse mal y deprimido porque se le han derrumbado sus oportunidades que tenía aquí como de frente, pero simplemente hace falta levantar un poquito la cabeza y ver que el mundo es una oportunidad constante. Simplemente hay que ponerse las gafas de ver oportunidades y lanzarse. Ahora más que nunca hay que tener capacidad de trabajo, esfuerzo, luchar y ver y ser optimista.
Yes.
Porque vamos a salir de esta. Mi mujer dice, lo lleva diciendo desde el principio, Oliver, este virus vamos a convivir con él. No pasa nada. Hay que adaptarse. Ya está. ¿Va a haber un rebrote? Bueno, pero es la convivencia y ya estamos adaptados. Ahora hay que cambiar la mente y ver
Mhm.
todo en un mundo de posibilidades.
Así es. And if we say that in English, it's just move forward, empower, discipline, vision, community together. And I have Jono from Grinnell College say he knows Spanish actually, bandeja paisa. Do you guys cook bandeja paisa in Madrid?
En patacones,
Empanadas,
chicharrón,
arepitas.
arepa, sí, 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 todo. Uh, of course, the good food is good food everywhere. So, you need to eat it.
Man, yeah, and when I go to those of you that are watching, when I go to Madrid, even if I have to go for one day, I have to call Oliver. Otherwise, he's gonna get really mad at me. So I land super tired. He picks me up at the airport, and then he takes me to the best jamón serrano, best paella. I mean, Oliver, thank you so much, man.
Remember that night when you landed like at 11 p.m. and I
Yes,
picked you up and I took you to a taberna and we had some ham and wine and
it was really good. And this is what I love about our job, that you get to meet people like you and we become good friends, and there is no competition. We're just friends and we're helping each other, and that's why I want to put a plug for you, because you've been doing a phenomenal job for European education, sending us students to the United States, us sending students to you guys to Spain. But this is the world of education that will help each other, and I hope everything recovers really well. Your wife is absolutely right. We will recover. This is here to stay, and we need to learn how to live with this new virus. But as a civilization, we will move forward. So, Oliver, muchas gracias por tu tiempo y por tu espacio.
nada, gracias a ti, Juanca. Thank you very much, Juanca. Thank you very much for everybody watching. You have a friend in Spain, Lemon Tree Education. Follow us and shoot us any questions that you have. We're happy to help.
Oliver, muy buenas noches. Lemon Tree Education, thank you. And to all of you watching, thank you so much. We have amazing guests next week, like Oliver. And here you can find our video on IGTV and also on YouTube. For you, Juan Catamayo, JCT for Education. Oliver, buenas noches.